Cinema.
Welcome back to War with Cinema. I'm your host, Craig, your local metalhead, and with me is...
Par the Collector. What's up, everybody?
And this time I gave you the Neon Demon.
Came out in 2016. That was the first thing I was going to ask you, man.
Mm-hmm. Director.
Horror thriller. You didn't tell me this was a horror movie.
I mean, is it?
I don't think it's like scary like that.
Yeah.
But it definitely has some
Moments.
some fucking head-turning moments, to say the least. Yeah, I'll get into that later.
Right.
But,
Director Nicholas Winding Refn is slowly becoming my favorite director.
I don't understand how, but has this guy directed anything that I would fucking watch?
Drive?
It makes a lot of fucking sense. Makes a lot of fucking sense.
Everything starts to add up.
Oh, Jesus.
Cast: Ella Fanning, Christina Hendricks, Keanu Reeves,
A bunch of beautiful fucking women.
Jenna Malone, Bella Heathcote, Abby Lee. So, what do you think about Neon Demon? What is this movie about?
It is about a young girl who wants to become a supermodel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another one of those like Black Swan where you have an innocent, hardworking character and slowly they start losing their shit. And then in her case, she was drinking the Kool-Aid quick. All it took was a couple compliments out of people, and she was already in it.
Mm-hmm.
I do like, I don't know, I'm jumping the gun here. Anyways, go ahead. Break into it, dude. Like,
So
I'm trying to look at the cast. That way I know what the character's name is.
right. So in this movie,
okay, Jesse Ruby. Gotcha.
Ella Fanning is...
Jenna Malone. She was good in this.
She was really good.
Sick.
Yeah.
Fucking sick. I can't wait to talk about that, bro.
Yeah, we'll get to it. She's supposed to be 16 in the movie, but fun fact, she was actually 16 when shooting this movie.
Oh, good.
Turned 17
I
while
figured
shooting.
she was young because you don't see her naked. And
Right.
usually when you don't see them naked, especially when there's other chicks getting naked,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're not old enough.
Yeah, exactly. So
Which is good.
that is the case. So it opens, which is really important. It opens with her doing a photo shoot,
She looks like a Barbie doll.
and she has her throat slit and on a couch, so it looks like a murder scene.
Mm-hmm.
So
Bunch of glitter and shit.
yeah, that's one thing I have to say about this movie is it's fucking beautifully shot.
I was gonna say that it got bonus points because it was visually cool as shit with the neon lights and all that. Like they really knocked home the whole neon in the fucking title.
Yeah, and another fun fact: the director, he's colorblind.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
Well,
Just mind-blowing.
whoever did the editing and can see did a great job.
Yeah, he had a lot of references on set to make sure it looked well.
That's really interesting who did do that, because to cue up music with it, because some of the movie with the lighting, you know, it kind of played into the ambiance of it.
That's another thing is the music was so good in this to me. Like I love
I
the
knew
music.
when I was watching this, I kept thinking to myself, like I make mental notes now.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, Greg loves the fuck out of the soundtrack.
Yes, I do, 100%.
After the first 10 minutes, I said, oh, I know what Greg loves about this fucking movie already. Like the ambiguous, I was like, Greg could have made the soundtrack for this.
Right.
But they did a good job of matching the music with how they would go into scenes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't linger too long. Some of them kind of did a little bit. You know,
Right.
I'm not a big fan of lingering. Because I felt like when I watched this movie, I was like, there's no need for this movie to be 2 hours. This could have been an hour and a half. We're in and out.
Right. But that just doesn't build the ambiance.
No, certain stuff was fine.
Yeah.
But some was just kind of like you watch that dude clean his fucking glasses for 20 minutes. You know what I mean? And I get it. Like, he was not impressed with old girl and everything. You know what I mean? But like, of course, like he didn't even get him on when Jessie shows, you know, her stuff.
Right.
But when he finally gets them things on, I was just like, would you really just stay in the scene until we go watch this guy put his fucking glasses on? Like, I don't know. Like you said, beautiful movie. But anyways, young girl, she does a photo shoot. One of the girls doing the makeup there is Ruby.
Right.
And Ruby is like being super nice to her. And immediately I'm like, Ruby's up to some shit.
Right.
Like I got that immediately. Ruby's not your friend. She's gonna make it seem like she's your friend.
Mm-hmm.
She's Mila Kunis in this one. This guy is a huge Darren Aronofsky fan because I've got a lot of shit from Black Swan that I got from this movie.
Him and Kubrick. He's big on Kubrick also.
Is that who Aronofsky fucks with too? Because I swore it
they all
this
is
felt
in a
like
circle
an
jerk.
Aronofsky movie, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very like is in my wheelhouse of like movies that I really enjoy. I like visually pleasing movies, has something to say, well done.
So Ruby goes, I have a friend that works for a supermodel agency. I'll get you an interview with her. And she's like, why would you do that for me? And she's like, because you're beautiful and, and I want to be your friend or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to a party? And she's like, what kind of party? An awesome party.
Right.
And so they go.
And that's where they meet up with the other two.
Yeah, those two chicks, you could tell instantly were bitches. Haters.
Haters, yes.
To the 10th degree.
Right.
I gotta say, man, I know that you don't think about this when you hand me movies like this, or maybe you do. I don't know. But I have a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at movies like this as cautionary tales of shit that I would never let my daughter do. Like,
right.
Now she can never do ballet because of the feet. I would never let my baby's feet look like that.
I literally don't think about that.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I'm saying. And I'm like, but because sometimes we see shit in these movies that like horrible things happen to women. And I'm just
we're going to do Ingrid Goes West next because that's a fucked up.
Oh, of course. And I just like, I think to myself like, I couldn't imagine, dude.
Right. But a lot of these girls don't have a father figure in their life. So they are, getting into these things and they don't have any guidance.
Well, I was going to say that, but that leads me on to something later on in this movie that I got to say. But anyways, yeah, so she gets the interview with this modeling agency.
Well, this scene real quick when she meets up with the other two girls.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I skipped over
because there's a little part in here that I'm like, oh, like watching it the second time, I'm like, it pays off later. They're putting on their makeup and they were talking about how makeup is either named after sex or it's food. Mm-hmm. And they were, playing this little game, like what kind of makeup would you be? And it just plays into the movie later on and we'll get to it. But talking about sex and food. And then one of the girls was like, who are you fucking?
Yeah.
Like,
what, excuse me?
Yeah.
She's like, what do you mean? She's like, when everybody walks into a room and looks at you, the first thing they think is they don't know you. So who are you fucking?
Who are you fucking? And can you get bigger than, can you grow?
Can you get past me?
Yeah. Something like that.
Go farther than me,
right.
Higher than me. Can you climb higher than me? That's what she says.
That's it. Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I mean, I get it. Like every field is competitive, but they really like painted home that like fashion models are like fucking dead inside.
Ruthless.
Yeah. Like just conniving motherfuckers. But, I'm interested to see like what actual models think of this movie.
Yeah, I know. I didn't.
Because this does paint a very brutal imagery of at least one model's life.
I have to say, for me, watching this the second time around, because the first time you don't know what you're getting into. The second time you know what you're getting into, so you can kind of like get a better feel for it. And I feel like he's trying to show how beautiful and like dangerous this field is. How ruthless everyone is. What it takes to be.
I'm thinking like, did he read a story?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Something like this, like that kind of, was, I ain't gonna lie, the first half of it doesn't really line up with where they take it. I didn't feel that.
Oh, well, I have something to get into that because I paused the movie at exactly half just by accident because I had to like get something to drink or go to the bathroom. And I realized this scene was happening at exactly midpoint of the movie. And we'll get to it, but
I don't think I know what scene you're talking about.
Right. And I was like, that's so interesting.
Well, I guess that was like the gateway to it.
Yep.
Because
so it is like a different half of the movie.
All right. Well, I picked up on that too.
Yeah.
So
she gets the interview.
These chicks pretty much, you know what I did? And another thing that should have been a red flag for a old girl is while those two were sitting there literally just ganging up on her, making her feel like shit because she's just natural. Don't get me wrong. The girl that plays her, Jessie, is a gorgeous girl, like she's very beautiful. Elle Fanning, she's a very beautiful person, and they make her feel like shit for it,
right? Made her feel bad for looking so good.
Because one of them goes on and on about how she's had everything done and how she's like symmetrically perfect, and
she doesn't have natural beauty. She has manufactured beauty. Right. She even calls herself Bionic Woman.
Right.
Well,
her doctor
that does her work calls her Bionic Woman.
She's like, is that a good thing? And then they both kind of just laugh like, oh, you dumb bitch. Like, you don't
Yeah,
know.
I heard your parents were dead. Yeah.
That must be really hard for you.
Right.
Like, damn.
Just took the claws out immediately.
And then, like, that Ruby told them.
Oh, yeah.
How else would they fucking know?
Right.
And she's just sitting there with this fucked up smile on the whole time. And that's what I was going to say. Like, how wasn't that a red flag? Like, this girl is not your friend.
It is, but she doesn't know anybody. And these are her gateway into she kind of has to put up with the bullshit.
So they go out there and there's like a modeling / like art exhibit, I guess, going on out there. And
it's straight like techno.
Yeah, it really made me miss Molly. I was just like, I'm just kidding, folks. But anyways, it just shows all of them staring, and they're all staring at her with like this, like if looks could kill.
Right.
And so anyways, it cuts to the next day. She gets up, goes to the modeling agency, and there's like 5 girls out there waiting. And she comes in and goes right to the back.
Where there's like, 10, 15 girls just in their lingerie doing the walk.
No, that's after.
Oh, is it after?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's talking to
no, because that's when she goes to what's her name? Yeah, from Mad Men.
She's talking to the lady.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Because that's when she was like, what did she say? Don't trust anybody oh no, she's like, I won't call you fat, but that doesn't mean other people won't. Right. So you have to get a tough skin for what people will say to you.
She's like, you're in shape. That's rare. Your beauty is just off the chart. She's like, I see 30 girls a week that come from small towns that guys said they're beautiful and they should model, and I have to crush their dreams. She goes, but with you, you're gonna go far. Like,
you ever seen Mad Men?
I've seen an episode here and there.
Oh, Christina Hendricks, she's in it, and she's fucking gorgeous. I was obsessed with her in Mad Men. So I just know gorgeous.
John Hamm was good on it.
Yeah, that's a good show. You should definitely check it out.
Okay, yeah, I'll put that on there.
Recommendation.
Anyway, so she pretty much gets the job, and she's like, how old are you? She's like, I'm 16. And she's like, you shouldn't tell people that. You should tell people you're 18 or 19.
Yeah. 18 is too on the nose.
Yeah. She's like, tell people you're 19. And she's like, well, I don't know about that,
What's really funny, she's like, nobody would believe me. And she's like, they don't care. They believe what they're told. I was like, whew.
That's chilling.
Yeah.
Because this probably happens a lot.
Yeah.
Like I said, all red flags, all things that I would be like, never,
exactly.
Never allow my daughter to do that. And we have to talk about like the conditions she's living in. It's like a fucking hotel that people rent as like apartments.
I have, those hotels and the shady ass owner, Keanu Reeves.
I ain't gonna lie, this is the most fucked up thing I've ever seen Keanu Reeves in.
I'm so surprised I saw him. When he popped up, I was like,
when I saw him in the fucking credits, I said, I know he doesn't need money. Like John Wick 1 at least came out by now. Like he was doing fine. Like why did him and the old boy must be friends.
Can I just say this is some of the best acting he's ever done, and it's such a small part.
It's such a fucking terrible person. Like, and that's the scariest part is why are you better at acting like this than in anything I've ever seen you in, bro? He didn't even do the Keanu head deal or nothing, dude.
Yeah.
Like
he was improvising lines.
I said, this is scary.
Yeah. We saw the real Keanu.
He was by far the creepiest fucking part of this movie, dude. No, second part. Ruby got number 1.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Ruby's fucked up. So I was noticing the room this time around. Like, it's the wallpaper, the curtains, her duvet or whatever it is all covered in like floral. And I kind of got the thing that she's like almost in the woods. You know what I mean? This is just me picking up on things. I don't know if this is what he was trying to say, but this is kind of what I got from it. Like she's in the neck of the woods, right? Covered in all this floral stuff. I don't know. I just was trying to understand what he's trying to say with all this decorative.
So she goes out on a date with this guy. I don't remember how they meet or if it even says.
Is it the photographer guy at the beginning that she's with throughout the whole movie? Yeah.
Okay. So
it's just this guy that's like obsessed with her, and he's kind of like following her around, and she's just like having him along just so she's not alone.
And they go out on like a date or whatever, and she tells him how old, and he's like, I think I left something like the stove on at home. Like,
right.
I don't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
And that was kind of creepy that she was like, no, stop. It's fine. You know, like I wouldn't do that. And then like they go on the little date or whatever. And then afterwards, like he tries to like make out with her. And she's like, shakes his hand.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just like, so you were like, oh, you're too young. It's not cool. And then
you're
like,
until she's cool with it.
Instantly, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't say how old he is, but it doesn't look very.
It implies that he's over 18.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, for sure. You get that vibe a lot off of the men in this movie that they don't care how old she is.
Yeah, it shows the disgusting underbelly of this world.
It doesn't paint men very well in this movie. After the date or whatever.
It's when she goes back to her hotel and there's a fucking cougar in there.
Mountain lion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fuck cougar in the car.
I have a thing to say on that because
I knew there was some kind of thing. I'm not tying into that, but
I'm not entirely sure. Like I try to pick up on things the best I can, but I like to hear your perspectives because you don't like really watch movies like this much on your own
at all.
Yeah. So I like to hear what you think because I didn't have anything for the cougar, but then I started to see a motif and I'm like, oh, there's something there.
Right.
But because in a lot of shots there are taxidermied animals, but they're mostly like predator animals.
Yeah.
And then you notice them in the background. It happens a few times throughout the movie,
especially in the mansion.
Yeah, so I think there's a motif there. Like these are predators around you.
She's the prey.
Yeah,
right.
So I think that's what he was trying to do. But
yeah, I get that. And even Keanu Reeves, like he doesn't even want to go help her.
Yeah.
This is our introductory into him and some guy named Mike, who's just like, I don't know, doing meth or hanging out with Keanu Reeves. And Mike, get the bat. Mike, flashlight. Like Mike's got everything. Mike's just his guy, I guess. And of course, there's a fucking mountain lion in there.
Yeah.
And
he's like, you can pay for the damages.
He's like, you're paying
how is
for
this my
shit.
fault?
Yeah.
You left the door open.
Well, I mean, she's a young girl and he knew he could intimidate her.
Yeah.
And so we cut to, she goes to see this big time photographer that Ruby in the modeling agency set up for her.
Right. He's the big wig of photography in this field.
And it thought it was really crazy. Like, I've never seen a room like that. It's just all white, like a white screen or whatever, I guess is what it was.
Yeah.
He's taking pictures of this other chick. When she goes back there and Ruby does her makeup and they give her like this golden outline, kind of like a goddess, I would imagine. You know, that's what I got the vibe off of it.
Yeah.
And she goes out there and he's like, I don't see anything here or something like that, like to that effect. Like, I'm not going to shoot you.
I think the white represented like purity. It's supposed to like reflect how like pure she is because this is she's innocent in this early of her career. So that's what I took from the white.
And
he makes everyone leave.
Right. He's like, I don't have time or something. She's like, I can stay. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And he's like, get naked. And she's like, drops down to her drawers and he's like, all of it.
Which he's a creepy motherfucker too. He's one of those creeps.
He's been in some other stuff. Like, he looks like the guy that plays fucking Rorschach.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah.
In Watchmen.
Right.
The movie, not the TV show. But yeah, I've seen him in other stuff. Like, I'd have to pull him up, but
yeah, he's one of those creeps that doesn't cross that line of like touching.
He's one that doesn't usually play good guys.
Right.
Desmond Harrington. He just, like, even his profile picture looks like a villain, like a Bond villain.
He's just got one of those faces.
Same thing with Charles Baker. Like, he looks like he robbed a 7-Eleven in his life. You know what I mean? Anyways, Dean was the boyfriend / friend, male friend. So where are we at?
He goes in the back and gets all this paint and starts rubbing gold paint all over her.
And she kind of like gets into it.
Yeah, at first she was very hesitant and reserved, but you see her slowly accepting it.
It's like you said, with the white was her innocence, and then he turns out the lights, and the only light is the doorway he comes in with the paint.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like her opening it up to the darkness, like getting that.
Accepting it, yeah. Right. I like it.
Like she knows she has to do it to get where she wants to go.
Mm-hmm. This is what it takes. Getting naked and having a strange man rub his hands all over you with paint.
Exactly. Weird as shit. Terrible. Horrible.
It wouldn't be so bad if she wasn't 16.
Yeah.
Like if she was like 18, 19, it wouldn't be as bad. But the fact that she's 16 makes it so much more uncomfortable.
That's what I said. I thought about that a lot. Like really, like unless he was trying to paint the picture that this happens to a lot of underage girls, like why he felt the necessity to make her underage.
Yeah.
Because it's still horrible if she's 18.
Right.
If she is 19, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But it makes it worse that she's underage.
Because that's someone's baby,
Exactly.
Like, that's what I thought. Like it really did. It made it that much more hurtful when you watch it, dude. Like I'm not lying, dude.
No, I know. I was thinking about like Synecdoche, New York. You're like, after I watched this movie, I just went and hugged my daughter. Yeah. It's like, how many of these movies?
How many of these are you gonna fucking give me, Greg? I can't handle this.
After this ended, I went and hugged my daughter and then came over.
This one, I was just kind of blown away at how crazy, like how left field it went.
Yeah.
Anyways, building to that.
You're right.
So she goes in there, I guess nothing else happens. He takes the pictures, whatever. And she's like, he thinks they're great, and Ruby's outside. She's like, you stayed? And she's like, you're my friend. Of course I stayed. And she tells her that they think that I'll get called for something else. And I think that's when she goes to the lingerie one.
Yeah.
And there's like 10, 15 girls sitting out there.
Right.
And she gets called. And one of the girls from the bathroom is in there.
Well, whenever the first girl walks, he seems like so interested, like the guy that chooses the girls. I don't know what he is. And then whenever Ellen, or what's her name? Fanning.
Jesse. Oh,
yeah, Jesse. Whenever she starts walking, he's like super interested.
Yeah.
And so when she does go to the bathroom, you can tell this girl,
she's been like
she's like fading. Life. Yeah, she's like a fading star. Right. And you have this new blood in. Yeah, they break the mirror. She cuts her hand on it, and the girl just jumps on her hand to start trying to suck her blood.
Vampire, and she is like fucking locking down, dude.
Yeah,
it's fucking gross.
It is fucking gross, but it kind of shows like how desperate they are to stay relevant.
That was like some demonic shit right there. Think about it, like fucking drinking the blood and shit. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like
a virgin, because she's a virgin. That kind of play into it, right?
Well, you've heard about the one queen that used to take baths in baby's blood to try to stay youthful.
It's like some Illuminati shit, dude. Like this movie touches on a lot of weird shit. Purposefully, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So she gets out of there and she goes back to her hotel, and she sees Keanu Reeves down there like smoking a cigarette and just like staring at her room. So she's creeped out. She calls old Dean over there, because it's like her only friend. She passes out from, I guess, the blood or whatever.
Yeah.
And
it was a beautiful shot. He hands her some flowers and she kind of like passes out and they fall around her. I don't know. I kind of liked it.
He cleans her hand up and pulls the glass out, which was like a good fucking chunk. I don't know how she left that shit in there as long as she did. She's like, tells her what happened about the mountain lion and about how fucking what a dick Keanu Reeves is. So he goes down to be like Joey Badass. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this dude's $150 soaking wet. Like, Keanu Reeves being Keanu Reeves could kick his ass. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he has to play a hard ass in this movie, and it's fucking hilarious.
Right? And Keanu Reeves, like, doesn't even need Mike for this. He just jumps on old boy, and he's like, Are you tapping that or something? Like, and this is when I got the realization that Keanu Reeves is creepy as fuck, dude. And a much better actor than I give him credit for.
Yeah.
Like, you said it. This might be the best acting he is. Right. I didn't think about it until you said it, but that's fucked up if that's the truth. Because I'm going to believe that it's not. I like other movies.
Because his like biggest movies, The Matrix.
But he didn't Keanu Reeves it.
Yeah.
And that's fucked up, right? Like, out of all the shit you've seen him in, dude, he didn't Keanu Reeves it.
The one line where he's like, 213 is something to see.
214. Oh my God, dude.
That was his improvised line.
That's what I meant, dude. Fucking Runaway, Sandusky, Ohio.
13 years old.
She'll fucking let you do anything to her. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's fucking disgusting.
And that's why I said, like, Keanu Reeves, there's something in your eyes we don't know.
You pulled something dark out.
Yeah, bro. You've showed way more acting in this fucking 10 minutes you got in this movie than in that entire Matrix fucking franchise.
Right.
Like, I have to go watch Bill and Ted after this to like fucking get a good taste
palate cleanser.
Dude, because like this motherfucker left a bad taste in my mouth from Keanu Reeves, bro. I don't even think John Wick would have helped. Like it would have just made me feel worse.
Who would have been different? Fucking Nicolas Cage. He would have killed that shit.
I don't see that's a lot. That's a thing though.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Nick Cage play a lot of fucking weird ass movies, but I've never seen him play that kind of weird.
That creep, yeah.
Never seen him play like a somebody that hurts kids or women. Like I've never seen him do that in any movie.
Yeah.
Some people just aren't comfortable even pretending. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. I couldn't sit there and say like, hey, there's a 13-year-old. You should go and fuck her. Like,
no, I'm just saying, cool. Like, even an actor that can do that in a show, like, I think that takes a lot of, like, you have to be very good at what you do. Because, you know, to even put yourself in that mind frame to be believable.
Well, I think he understands what this movie is trying to say is how, like, disgusting this industry is.
And she's in LA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, and like, you do hear about shit like that, you know, Hollywood, like not necessarily modeling, but like girls trying to get into movies and anything, you know, like this is.
You pretty much have to suck and fuck your way to the top.
And hope you don't get fucking killed or strung out along the way.
Right.
Like, it's a very sad, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I was really surprised that they didn't add in there. They didn't throw any really drugs in there.
No, not really. I think it would have affected what he was trying to say.
Yeah, it's true, because then it would have made you think like, is all that shit in her head?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, anyways, Keanu Reeves has this creepy shit, and then she which one? What happens after that? They go. She goes to that show.
Mm-hmm.
She's getting ready to do that show,
right?
And she's sitting in there, and the other girl, the one that didn't get beat out. She didn't beat out the other girl got hired too.
Yeah.
She's like, "What are you doing here?" She's like, "I'm in the show." She's like, "This show." And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "That's my chair." So she just gets up and moves to the other chair. And she's talking about, "You want to know what I've had done, don't you?" And she's like, "Sure." She's like, goes on this laundry list, like pretty much like nothing on this bitch is real.
Right.
And you really do get why they call her the Bionic Woman. She's like, doesn't all that hurt?
Yeah.
And she was like, anything that's makes you beautiful, like is.
Right.
Or something like, or anything that's worth it is. And I feel like that's true to a certain extent, but I feel like it's more metaphorical than physical.
Not necessarily, because
unless you're trying to be like a bodybuilder or some shit, you know?
You know about binding feet in the Chinese culture, right?
Oh, like making your feet small?
Yeah. So these women would bind their feet to make them small because small feet were attractive. So they were like dysmorphing themselves to become beautiful. And you know that shit's it doesn't feel good. So.
No, I mean, I wouldn't.
It's crazy what people will go through for beauty.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't agree with that. You know, I don't think anybody should have to change who they are, unless it's something positive. You know what I mean? Like if you are out of shape and you say like, I'm going to give it everything I got to not look like this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously as long as you're not doing steroids and like, you know, hurting your body doing it, you know what I mean? I don't see anything wrong with that. Or if you want to get a better job, or if you know, goals are good.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying don't go hard as you can to get there, but like there's a difference between.
There's a line between being happy with
obsession,
yourself and like wanting to change small things to make yourself feel better. So it's a line. I think people should be allowed to do what they want. You know,
I mean,
like
to a certain extent.
Yeah. Like, you shouldn't destroy your body for this unachievable beauty.
For anything.
Yeah.
I don't feel like anything is worth that much.
Right.
You know, but I think that's the point of this movie. You know. Anyway, so she goes, her and the girl are going back and forth, and like she's like talking about how great she is and this and that, and the girl comes out the back and she's like, "You're Jesse, right?" She's like, "Yeah, they want to see you." She's like, "I've already been fitted," and she's like, "I'm just a messenger."
Right.
She goes back, and old boy that spent 25 minutes cleaning his glasses is back there. Which, by the way, I kept looking at him and I'm like, where do I know this dude from? He plays Dickie Moltisanti in The Many Saints of Newark.
Oh, really?
Sopranos movie. He's the main character.
Of course,
I kept thinking, like, where the fuck is I know this guy? And then I was like, I love this guy as Dickie Moltisanti. So yeah, he plays a real good asshole in this one.
Yeah, he does.
I felt like if what they were trying to put off was like the most misogynist, like a shallow like view on women.
Yes.
Like he captured that fucking perfectly.
Yeah, I feel so too.
And if that's how all fashion designers are, because that's like what he's playing is like a fashion designer / like model guy. Like he's the one that puts the dresses on the most beautiful women for these fucking shoots.
Right.
And afterwards, he like makes her the star. He's like, "I'm gonna have you close my show," and he gets her all, and she's like beautiful, you know. And this is when this movie takes a fucking hard left.
Yes.
And she has this moment where she's at the end of the runway and she looks out, and it's like she's coming out of a prism, and the only light is on the other side. Is like this other side. It's like almost like it locked in or whatever. And it's opened up for her. And she walks in and she sees nothing but herself all around her.
Yeah. It's all surrounded by triangles and everything, which triangles have many meanings. So you could really gather anything from it. It could be from the three girls that she's trapped in between. It can be her rise to where she wants to be at. Like whatever you get from it, I'm sure all of them are right.
Yeah. And this is where I really feel like we talked earlier, that was the gateway.
And it's literally halfway through the movie.
It really
if you pause it, it's 2-hour movie. It's at hour
at
one.
An hour. Yeah. I was like, that is so insane. Dude.
Yeah.
And she's already a very pretty girl, but it's almost like they changed her just a little bit. And that's why I said it compared me to Black Swan a lot, because it's like when Natalie Portman became the Swan, you know, the Black Swan, like her eyes changed, like everything about her facial expressions changed. Like you saw all the innocence go out of her.
Yes.
And now she's just this artificial thing. You know what I mean?
What I
like
loved
a creature
about
almost. You know?
Yeah. What I loved about it is when it starts, it's blue. And then halfway through it like slowly changes to red. And by the end of the scene, it's red. And then the next scene is her all dressed up. And she's like a different person. She has confidence in herself. She has the beauty.
It's almost like she's like old royalty. Like she's not even looking at the peasants.
Yeah.
And
she has become the neon demon.
Yeah.
At this point.
Exactly. Really do. And they're sitting around, and she invited Dean out with her because I guess like she wanted him to be there with her beforehand anyways.
Yeah.
And the other girl in the show is like sitting there, and she's like all trying to like shit on her. Like she's still the favorite, even though she almost broke her neck looking back at old girl through the whole show. And I was just like, that had to hurt, you know? And he's like, she's like, yeah, I think that like, you know, beauty. He's like, oh, if you've had to have work, you're not beautiful.
Yeah, you're not real beauty.
That's manufactured beauty. And she's like, well, I've thought about having the girl that's like his assistant or whatever. She's like, she said my voice doesn't match my face, so I was thinking about having my face. He's like, don't do that. And she's like, why? And he's like, because then you're not beautiful.
The people who notice, they can see.
Know. She's like, well, I don't think you can tell from everybody, obviously, because she's had all that work done. And then like the guy Dean is the only one left, or the only other man there.
Right.
Thought that was really crazy too. That like he had two women at the table with him, and then behind him were the other girls from the show in like separate booths, and then Jesse and Dean were in their booth.
Right.
So it was like he had his pets with him at his table, and then the rest had to sit somewhere else. Like,
No.
I don't know. I don't know if that's speaking to like he thought he was like the big dog and whatever, but like I don't know. I just thought it was like extra. Like,
yeah, I'm sure there's something there.
Him being like dominant over these fucking poor girls.
Right. And he is. He's the emperor to these women.
Right. Like just showing that like I'm better than you, keeping you where you're at type of deal.
Yeah.
But anyways.
And he's like, Dean's like, beauty isn't everything. And he's like,
you don't
beauty is
that,
everything.
He's like, it's the only thing.
Yeah, it's the only thing. And he's like, you know how I can tell? He's like, because you wouldn't have talked to her if she wasn't beautiful. And I was like,
if you were beautiful, if she wasn't beautiful, you wouldn't even have stopped to look.
Yep.
And it's like, damn, but like, I think that's like what she's supposed, because we don't really get a good feel into her personality or anything, so, because she doesn't have anybody. She's just a young girl who doesn't, who just got lucked out and looks like this.
Right. And that's what she says earlier in the movie. She's like, all I have are my looks, and I know that. So
she's like, I'm not good at anything but being pretty.
Which I don't think is true at all.
Well, I mean, I could see why she would feel like that.
Yeah.
Because she didn't have anybody to tell her otherwise. But no, of course I don't think, I think my wife's beautiful, but it's not all I
everything.
Like about her,
Yeah, because I'm sure you've dated like really pretty girls, but there's like not much below that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like women that have to cake on 6-7 layers of shit and do all this to be a certain way for them to feel like men like them.
Yeah.
That's not real beauty, because like when she goes home at night and takes all that shit off, that's what you're looking at every day. So like if I would have my wife had to do all that to be what I wanted her, then I would have never been able to marry her.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I like my wife with nothing on. When she wakes up, the eye boogers, the snot, all that. Like that's what I like, the natural beauty.
Right.
And that's why I know I love her, because I like her just like that, or when she's dolled up to go.
Yeah, when girls get dolled up, it's like the icing on the cake kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not saying that she doesn't look, she's beautiful either way.
Right.
But that's
it's like an enhanced beauty.
And her personality, and just like she's my best friend. That's why I married her, and that's what I feel like love and beauty is about, There's other things that can be beautiful about somebody other than their looks.
Right. But of course, her looks are what attracted you to her. Like, wow, she's really pretty. I should take
initially,
her out.
I mean, there has to be some attraction.
Exactly, yeah.
But
I know I remember whenever because my wife and I met when we worked at the same place. And I remember I went into work one day, and, I'm the kind of person I always hold the door for somebody, especially women.
Right.
So I held the door, and I kind of like got a glimpse of who was walking through, and I was like, damn, she's really cute. It's just those moments like that attract you to that person.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big believer in like love at first sight or anything like that. Like, I don't know how that shit works, but
there's definitely lust at first sight.
I get that spark. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, like she is gorgeous. Or like, they say something to you, it'll attract you to them.
Well, I think half of it is you're attracted to somebody initially, but then you talk to them, and it can go either way.
Right.
Like their personality is going to enhance that beauty, it's definitely
really
going to.
Pretty women that as soon as you hear them talk, it's like, oh, okay, so that's all you got.
Yeah.
Like you have nothing else to offer but that face.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I get that. But anyways, so
I love that part in this. Whenever Dean is like, "We should go," she's like, "You can go," like because she feels.
No, he's like, "Do you want to get out of here?" He's like, "I don't want to go. Like, I can't believe this asshole just put me in this." Like saying that's like how all men feel. Like is how he was like thinking about it. And she's like, "If you want to go, go."
Yeah, because she feels like she's with her people now. Right. She feels confident.
And that's why I said that after that scene, she's different. Just the way she's sitting there.
Yep. She exudes confidence now.
I didn't feel confidence. I felt like she felt better. Like a sense of
belonging.
I don't know, man. Cockiness?
Well, I say confidence. Yeah, I guess cocky. Either way. Yeah, she is pretty cocky.
Like she was drinking the Kool-Aid at this point.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
She fully believed all that. Like, like if somebody would have said, "You're beautiful," she's like, "I know."
Yeah. Tell me something I don't know. Yeah.
That's like where she was. And then later on in the movie, she like that's what I thought when it. And she literally says that shit to Ruby when she's standing on the diving board.
Yeah.
Women would give everything just to be a second-rate version of me. I was like, damn, bitch, really? like, somebody's drinking the Kool-Aid hard.
Right.
Like. So anyways, she goes back to the hotel. She's like, what are you doing here?
Mm-hmm.
And Dean's like, do you really feel like that? Like, that was terrible, like those people, you want to be like those people?
Yeah, she's like, I want to be myself. That's
like,
what she
says.
They
want to be like me. And then just walks over him, like literally steps over him like Allen Iverson over Tyronn Lue in the finals. If you're a basketball fan, you know what I'm talking about. And just walks past him and goes up to the room. And she's in there laying on the bed. And then it cuts to like her laying there on the floor. Like I guess she had rolled up. Oh no, that's when she has the thing with Keanu Reeves.
Oh my God, the creepiest part of this whole fucking movie.
God, dude. It's like a tie between that and his speech.
Yeah.
Beginning, dude. He sticks this gun down this chick's
gun.
Is it a gun or a knife?
It is a knife.
I can't see. It's really dark. Like,
it is really
dark. I
dark.
just knew it was something.
It's a straight knife.
That's what I thought. All right, cool. And he's like, wider. And he's like to the point where he's like at the handle.
Yeah, he puts this whole knife down her throat.
And then she wakes up.
Startled, yeah.
And somebody's like trying to break in her door.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear next door. That young girl's next door.
Yeah, the 13-year-old.
And it's led to believe that I think it's Keanu Reeves that did it.
Yeah, it has that implication, but doesn't really say.
And then she calls Ruby and she's like, he's killing her.
Yeah. I love that shot, though, because what happens is he goes over there and basically rapes her. That's what it's implying, is someone is raping the 13-year-old. And she goes against the wall to listen. And then this shot I thought was really cool. It like pans away and she's like a silhouette against this. Like, this is where I got she's lost in a forest because around her is this wallpaper that's just like leaves and everything. It's kind of like she's lost in the woods.
Right.
That's just kind of my interpretation of it anyway. But yeah, the next scene is her calling Ruby and she's like, come over here. I'll keep you safe. Make sure everything's okay. And
I thought it was kind of shitty she didn't call the cops. What do I do? What should I do?
Yeah.
He already tried to come get me once, and I'm like, you should have called the cops then, bitch.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. First of all, that was another thing that kind of got on my fucking nerves. Like, she made all this money from modeling. Like, why the fuck is she still there? Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, why are you still in that shithole?
Has she made all that money, or is she just like on a come up?
I mean, you still got to get something for your time, right?
Yeah.
To use your likeness.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's porn money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would figure they had to pay her something.
Maybe
not
sure.
the first one, where we see her for the first time, but I would imagine
that show she did
after she go. Oh yeah, definitely. That seemed like top notch, like, right? Like, and this guy's supposed to be some big deal. She had to have made some money.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I guess that's why it's movie and not logical. But so she goes to Ruby's house and it's like this beautiful old mansion, a lot of great shots of art and things, and like you said, the cat, like it's like it's a cheetah or a leopard.
Yeah, a cheetah or a leopard, right? That's when I noticed it the second time. I'm like, wait, there's another predator animal. Like, there's might be a motif.
And she's walking through because like she doesn't know where Ruby is, and that's a little bit later. It's after this scene coming up, which I thought that it was really crazy that Ruby's like brushing her hair. She's like, my mom used to brush my hair after I've had a rough day. And I'm like, okay, this is where we're going to find out what Ruby's really up to, right?
Before this scene, it was sprinkled in. Ruby works at a morgue,
right?
Where she
does the makeup for the people that have died.
Right. It plays funerals. A part. So I wanted to mention that. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I really got to talk about that with you. Anyways, so yeah, Ruby's like brushing her hair and she's like, I think you're a really wonderful person, Ruby. Why are you so good to me? She's like, that's what friends do, And like, I think you're really awesome too. And she like starts like rubbing her foot, and then she like kissed her shoulder, and then she like starts kissing her neck.
Right.
And then she's like, what are you doing? And she's like, I thought that's what you wanted. And she's like, no, I've never done anything like that. She's like, I lied. And she's like, oh, I don't care. Like, that's fine, like, and then she like starts in like really hard.
Forcing herself on her. Yeah.
And she's like, no. And then like ends up kicking her off the fucking bed.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby just gets up and leaves.
Yeah.
Doesn't say a fucking word.
And this harpens back to the beginning of the movie where they're like, are you food or you're sex? Well, she's not sex. So guess we'll find out what that means.
Yeah. So Ruby goes to work the next day and she's already like laid out clothes for old girl.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where she's like at home and she's like painted herself up with all this glitter and like she's like made herself look like this, goddess again type deal. And what was it? Oh yeah. This is the second most fucked up scene of this movie.
Oh, that's where Ruby goes back to work.
And there's a young woman. And this is where I'm kind of like, was that the girl in 214?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I mean, she looked a little older than 13.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
That's a fucked up thing to think, but
I just thought young woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
she does look like she was a part of this industry and just didn't make it, if you know what I mean.
I thought it was either that or it was one of the girls, but obviously it wasn't because we see them later on in the movie. But I thought it was either maybe one of them.
They all kind of look the same after a while.
Exactly. Like, and that's another thing. Like, it's just like you feel bad because like for the women that really want to be in this, like you feel sorry for them almost. Like,
right.
To me, when I see fashion models, I don't think like that's the fucking bar of beauty.
Mm-hmm.
I just think like, wow, those girls look like they need a sandwich.
Right. Yeah.
They look sad as shit, And she even touches on it in the next scene after this, but I gotta get through this.
So what did Ruby do to this?
This might be the top. It might have made it into my top 5 most fucked up things I've seen in a movie.
Really?
It really was. I almost fucking threw up, dog.
That bad, huh?
Not at first,
I guess.
But she gets into it.
So, fun fact, she was supposed to just kiss the corpse.
She got in there.
But the actor decided to get on top and start riding this corpse. And the director was like, just keep it going.
And like she starts fucking tonsilling this thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm fucking gagging at this point.
I know it's not real, so that's how I kind of get past it. It's like, I know that's a real person, not
real acting.
Real.
That was real
acting.
She was getting into that shit.
Yeah, she's into necrophilia.
Yeah, hardcore.
But it shows shots of her.
Right, and it shows Jessie getting ready, like with her makeup and stuff.
Right, so it's showing Ruby how obsessed Ruby is with her.
Right. And so Jessie gets all dolled up and she goes out and stands on this diving board and this pool has no water in it.
Mm-hmm. Fun fact, I don't know why it just popped into my head, but this movie was actually shot in chronological order.
Oh, really?
Yeah, movies aren't usually shot like that, but this one was.
Here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, they usually go backwards or kind of like wherever they need it. Right. But this was shot, for the most part, chronologically. The only difference was the morgue scenes. Those were the only 2 shots that weren't shot.
That's cool.
Within, yeah. So yeah, she's at the pool all dolled up on the diving board. And Ruby's like, what are you doing? And then she goes on her little speech about how perfect she is, how everybody wants to be like her and stuff like that. So
yeah, and she goes to walk in the house and one of those chicks that she beat out is standing in there. Mm-hmm. And like the other one comes out of left field and tackles her fucking ass.
No, she punches her. Fun fact. Real punch.
Oh, really?
She really hit her in the face.
Damn. That's when that got real.
Right.
So they run, she runs and pulls out a knife and then they grab out knives.
Yeah, I thought that part was really funny as she grabs a knife out of this block and then the other girl walks up like, I can get one too. Like
she should have took all of them. So she should have done.
I thought it was funny. Yeah. Then they chase her throughout the house.
And I guess they cut her once because she's kind of limping. She ain't really running very fast.
It's probably that punch.
Yeah, fucking socked her to her. They corner her out by the empty pool, and then Ruby comes out of the woodwork, and she's like, "Look, Ruby, why are you doing this to me?" Like that's the look on her face. Mm-hmm. And Ruby just gives her a mush right into the fucking pool.
Yep.
And I was like, God, how uncomfortable was it for her to take that shot with her legs fucked and pretzeled like that? Like,
if you notice, you can see her toes wiggling a little bit. Like, I don't know how they got that
shit
shot.
Hurts. Yeah. She's got one foot up by like her shoulder. And she's like not all the way dead yet.
Right. She can still see them coming after her.
The last thing she sees is like all three of them. And then it cuts to one of the most shitty looking things I've ever seen. Like, that's the only time I've ever seen two chicks showering together that I still wasn't turned on.
Yeah.
It's just like, what the fuck?
Why were they showering?
Because they ate her.
And bathed in her blood.
And bathed in her blood.
Yeah.
And Ruby is watching from this bathtub of blood. It's like it went to Saul real quick in this movie. And these chicks are just like fucking rinsing all this shit off. Like, made me think, like, how much blood is in a human body?
I was thinking the same thing.
Like, they had to have saved a couple people, right? Like, that's just, she wasn't a big person either. Like, I just felt like that was a little far-fetched. I feel like she's filling up a 2-liter at best. Like, a gallon jug, maybe, but like, I don't know.
It did seem a little excessive because the pool was full. Not the pool,
that
but
shit was to the brim.
Yeah.
She was shoulder deep in that water, dude.
Blood,
right? Yeah. And I just it's like, this movie's so fucked up.
Yeah.
And cuts to the next day where one of the girls is going to a modeling gig and the other one's just there with her. And she's just sitting on the couch, and one girl's like, can you believe that my friend's like turning 21 and still trying to be a model? Like, I told her, you're old, you're on the downslope, you need to go find something else to do. And she's like, I totally took this job from her or whatever. And she's like, has anybody ever done that to you? And she's like, she like started laughing or something.
Yeah.
And she's like, what'd you do? And she's like,
I
ate her. And the other girl just like looks over at her like, what?
Because she knows, like, you probably really did.
They did.
Yeah.
They both did.
Mm-hmm.
And they go out there, and of course it's the same creepy motherfucker from the first with Jesse.
He's the top photographer.
And sees old girl sitting on the couch. And he looks at the one girl that ate her, and he's good. But then he gets to the other one, and then he sees the girl on the couch. And he's like, what are you doing here? I don't know you. And she's like, I'm waiting on my friend. He's like, I want to use you for this. Is that okay? She's like, yeah. So-and-so, you're fired. What the fuck? This isn't fair. Like, she gets her hair all braided up, and they get the leather whatever on, and then they're both out there. And then the girl that had been out there the whole time, she starts getting sick, like real sick. And she just like walks out. Oh, that's what it is. They're out by a pool. And she keeps looking at the pool.
It's making her sick.
Yeah, because that's where the old girl was, you know.
True.
And she goes in there and throws up a fucking eyeball. Throws up Jesse's eyeball. And then the most top 5 grossest shit ever, dude.
She's like, I gotta get her out of me, and starts like cutting her abs.
Takes a fucking pair of like knitting, like for fittings and shit, and just guts up the middle, dude. Like Braveheart style.
And the other girl is just watching this happen, like not
doesn't
reacting.
even take her fucking shades off,
right?
Until after it's done, and then eats the fucking eyeball, dude. I couldn't believe that.
So
then just turns around and goes back to work because she was like, I gotta get her out of me, and the other chick's like, I love this shit.
Interpretation.
She was the neon demon now.
Yeah, you think? First time I watched this, I was like, this industry is so hard, it'll eat you alive.
And I think that Ruby was like the devil.
Oh, yeah?
And like sacrificed this girl because she wouldn't let her like have her.
That's an interesting take, yeah. If I can't have you, nobody can.
No, like if you're not willing to, these two bitches would more than likely
I'll feed you to the wolves.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. You know, with the Predator and all that, that's what it was. It was the wolf eating her Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
I like that. Yeah,
it was a very artistic, crazy fucking way of showing it. Definitely not something I would have signed up for by myself.
Well, the one that I like is the girl that had all the work done is the one that was throwing up.
Right. Because it was like she thought it would be what she wanted, but then she saw, it's kind of like she saw behind the curtain. You know what I mean?
Well, I took it as she was manufactured beauty. She wasn't real beauty. She ate real beauty and her body couldn't handle it. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a good way of looking at it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other girl never had any work done, so she ate the eye with no problem and went back to work. So
because she had it.
Yeah. She has natural
She
beauty.
wasn't as beautiful as her, but she was like, she didn't have the work.
Right.
Because earlier in the movie, she talks about how jealous that the other girls had all the work that she wants and everything.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the best doctor, the best surgeon or whatever. Crazy fucking movie, dog.
Yeah. This is one that like stuck with me. I could not stop thinking about this movie after I watched it. It like hit me on like a deep level.
Not gonna lie, the last hour, like I said, it was fucking off the wall. Didn't see it coming. Definitely made it better. Because up until then, I'm like, this movie makes, like, why the fuck does he even like this movie? You know what I mean? I was just like, first he gives me one about fucking ballet, and then the next one he gives me about fashion models. Like, bro, did you want to be a chick? Or, like, what the fuck?
Maybe I'm trying to tell you something.
Trying to tell me something?
No, it's just like after I watched Neon Demon, it made me think of Whiplash and Black Swan because of that obsession over things.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, because my wife asked me why you picked this one. I said this one, he said, capped off, and it was a good one to end it with because this was the most extreme version of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's why I wanted to do these in succession. So,
you want my rating?
Yeah, what's your rating?
You're not going to be happy.
No, I get it. This was the worst of the three. That's why it was last. Not worst as in like Nick won't like this worst.
Right. 6-1.
6-1?
6-1.
Not too bad.
I gave it 6 because, like I said, it is beautiful. It is.
Yeah, that director
movie.
is so talented. Like, I know you don't like Drive, but it's such a beautifully shot movie, if anything else.
Right. And you know it's more just I don't fuck with Ryan Gosling.
I know, and I don't know why.
I've never been a big fan of his, man. There's only a couple movies that he's ever been in that I thought, like, wow, he was good in this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he added to this movie, not made it worse.
Right.
But that's just how I feel.
Yeah.
I loved him in Remember the Titans. You know?
Yeah.
As the white dude that couldn't play.
Yeah, right,
I loved him in that. He was great.
I give this one if you're into weird artsy movies, I highly recommend it. But if you're not into weird subjective, or what am I trying to say? Symbolism.
I feel like it's just a very extreme, it's an extreme example of like what certain industries, like what they're, I don't know, man. Like I said, I would be really interested to see how supermodels feel about this movie.
Yeah, that would be a good to talk to them about it and see how they feel.
Like a good watch and reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Like let girls that do this for a living, you know, let them see and then they'll see what they're like. You know, I could definitely see, you know, this happening to a girl, or like I've, you know, whatever. But
yeah, that would be an interesting take.
Or if like, wow, it's not this bad. Like I would never let somebody do this to me.
Yeah. If
whatever.
Someone was an aspiring model, I would not show this to them.
Just because I want to be a model doesn't mean I'm fucking whore or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I have morals. Like I was raised by good people or whatever. I just would be interested to hear what they say, because it is one of those movies that like, it's just like with Black Swan, like how bad do ballerinas make so much money that it's worth putting their bodies through that? You know, is the psychological, the starving themselves to be a certain weight, to look a certain way in it? Like, is it worth it all that to them?
Right.
I mean, obviously it is to a certain extent because people do it. Or is it that brutal?
It would be interesting to have your podcast where you have these kind of movies and you talk to professional people about these movies.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, because I know they do something like that online where there's like bank robberies and you have like an ex-bank robber.
I do love those.
Yeah.
I do love those, yeah. That'd be the ones I'd want to do. Bro.
Right.
I mean, it would be cool to talk to an actual ballet, but like the hard part would be like getting somebody that's been big time like that.
Seasoned, yeah.
Right, because like if a chick's done like, you know, part-time volunteer work, you know, as a whatever. Like,
they don't know the intricacies of real, yeah, I get what you're saying.
I want to talk to somebody that's been on that highest level, because like they know, like if it was shitty, they know.
Yeah.
You know, or like whatever.
Honestly, I don't think it would be that hard to like just talk to them.
Something like ballet, I don't think would be as hard, but like,
but a supermodel, yeah, like they don't want to talk to just anybody.
No,
that's true.
I think I'm like some fucking creep, dude, just like the millions of other ones that hit them up every day.
That's true.
Yeah, certain ones, like I've always wanted to talk to musicians that have like been on the road what's some of their stories like?
Oh,
what is
definitely.
it like trying to be a fucking like a successful musician or whatever, just like on the road playing those dive bars, like trying to get your name out there. Like I would love to talk to those people.
Yeah.
Like, how long have you been doing this? I've been doing this shit for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And like, we went any further? Like, you know, like shit like that I find fascinating, man.
Yeah, I went to we were at some show. It was like Battle of the Bands or something like that. But they had like some closing bands, quote unquote. They were just cover artists. Mm-hmm. But this guy was like 50 years old and he's like been doing this 30 years. And this is what his life is just playing these, you know, cover band shows after these concerts. And that would be a guy to talk to. Well, like, you know, he's seen and been through some shit.
Well, I've known people that have normal 9-to-5s and that's what they do for their
weekend warriors. Yeah.
Yeah. They do their gigs, you know, like, hey, I'm off. Like, let's get the band together or whatever. Some people, it is just a hobby or it is just a good time for them.
Right.
Or a way to something they enjoy doing. But then there are people that this is all they've ever wanted, you know, mm-hmm. and that's all they've ever pursued because that's what they want. And like, I wonder, like, that's when you know, we've talked about that a couple times. Like, what is it in your mind? Like, what does it mean to be successful?
Right.
Are you happy with where you're at, or do you feel like you should be better? Mm-hmm. Like, what is it the money that makes you successful, or is it happiness? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everyone has a different gauge of what their success is.
Because, I mean, being rich would be awesome, you know what I mean? But if you're doing something you fucking hate mm-hmm. to do it, you're still going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it's something you love, you'll never feel like you worked ever. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I wonder about that. Like, is the love of it worth not making the money that you feel like you've earned or deserved? Or
I think that's really what it comes down to, is the love for it, the passion of it.
What gets you up and keeps you going on the road to these shows knowing you're going to make $150, like enough to cover your gas and maybe eat, mm-hmm. have a beer after you're done.
Right.
Like, that's insane, man.
Those are the people that I'm like so envious of. They have that passion. It's like, that's all they want to do with their life is this one thing.
And that's what I'm saying. And if that's enough for them, then I find that fucking beautiful.
Right.
And that struggle that
if
they enjoy that, you know,
mm-hmm.
I personally can't do it because I don't just depend on myself anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I have other people that depend on me, so I can't just like drop everything and go do that.
Yeah, you can't just be like passionate about something.
This right here is like, honestly, like where I've gotten in life. This is my dream now. Like, we're doing what we want to do.
Right.
Well, at least I feel like I am, anyways. Yeah. Like, to be a podcaster, like, I think that's the coolest shit ever, bro. Like, yeah, we're not like Joe Rogan yet, which I don't know if that was a great thing anymore. Like, they're going hard on your dog, dude. I wanted to ask you lately, like, how you felt about all that, dude.
Censorship is not the answer.
I get that, but like, they're saying he's spreading COVID, like, anti-truth.
No, I don't feel like he is, though.
I think
he's just giving
a little butthurt, you know, or like taking it, but like then they started pulling up clips, bro.
Oh, the fucking N-bomb. But he apologized for it. He's like, I know I did wrong.
Remember that? Where was I at when that happened, dude? Like, damn, Rogan. Like,
he came out and he's like, listen, I don't want to speak for the guy.
They caught him on a VHS in '96, bro.
Right.
Bro, you were famous enough that you knew what the fuck you were doing. Like,
I get it, but he felt like he didn't want to be like censored by speech. But then, like, over the years, he's learned that there's certain words that aren't your words to be said. So he's apologized for the video. He's like, I shouldn't have said it. Yeah. So censoring.
Did he apologize last week or back then though? Because that's what I'm wondering. Because like, I don't remember him thinking like, oh, well, it wasn't a problem back then.
Yeah.
Like, well, it should have been, bro.
They're just under it. He's under attack because they want to censor him, and I don't think censorship.
He's like thanking Spotify for standing by him. I'm thinking like, bro, we do a podcast every week. We don't piss anybody off.
Yeah.
Like, bring us in. I'll do it for half the price. Like, the show. I mean, you don't think I'll step over Joe Rogan, bro? We'll call it the Par and Greg experience, bro. I don't give a shit. I'll take Joe Rogan's place.
I'm trying to get us canceled. Like, cancel up. Like, we're not popular enough to be canceled, but we can be popular enough. Like, the canceling makes us popular. You know what I mean?
Thinking, bro, like, maybe we should just go for bar, like, have YouTube ban us. Like, that would look good on the resume. Banned from YouTube, banned in America.
That's how you get famous now, is getting banned. And
we have to start, like, shooting the show in Canada because, like, we're not allowed to put it on the airwaves in America. We just start like doing like personal appearances and tearing the shit up wherever we're at. Fucking mosh.
Yeah.
Like,
but no, I don't feel like censorship is the answer. Like censoring him isn't the way to go about it.
no, but like I said, like they do kind of have him painted in a corner with, but like it's so weird that they went from what he said about COVID to being racist.
Yeah.
Like
because they're
they're
trying to
just
latch on it
for something.
exactly.
Know?
But I do like that Spotify is standing.
I think he's a very talented guy, and I don't think one mistake. There's other people, less talented people that have gotten chances.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope he does, stay on the ball.
I think he'll weather the storm.
But I definitely think he's gonna lose some people.
Maybe, but he's
I don't
so
know. Maybe
big
they
that
won't look at him in such a high regard as they used to. Is what I'm thinking. It's like Howard Stern. You start like finding out what kind of people they are, and it's just like,
yeah,
you still made a good show on, but like I don't really agree with how you live.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
You want to know what we're doing next week?
Well, don't you have something to show off?
Oh yeah, I do.
You've been playing with it the whole time, and
dude.
So you got something at your little haul.
I was gonna do the TikTok on it and talk about it then, but I'll talk about it on the podcast too. Got the Back to the Future set. Yeah, and it's not a Blu-ray or anything, but
it's a really cool case. I like the case a lot.
It is. It's holographic. It's got all three in it, which is crazy. It's like one of those, like we were talking about it one week, like, how you see a movie so many times that you just assume you own it.
Right.
That's how I am with at least the first Back to the Future, right? I've never been a huge fan of the third one. I enjoy the second one, even though half of it is just the first one over again. But the first one is the key to my heart, man. It's like one of my early loves in childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised I didn't know any of them. And like I got this for $1.
I love how cheap you get these things. Like you got 3 movies for $1, DVDs.
I always feel so bad, bro, because like you're like, I bought this Steelbook and it's beautiful, and it is. You're like, this is what I paid. I'm like, oh my god,
yeah,
I could have bought 20 movies for that.
It's a 2-week salary for you, or a 2-week allowance for you.
I guess I'm just such a cheap bastard.
Yeah, everyone has their thing. I like buying brand new dumb shit, and you just like buying used.
Yeah, this
hard to find.
This might have had a dew droplet on it or something. And you'd have been like, "Nah, it's ruined."
Right. I'm sorry. All the movies were wet. I'm not buying wet movies.
They weren't that wet, bro.
They were.
They would have dried off.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
I'm pretty sure I bought 4 of them. Like they all dried out. They're fine.
Can I play with it while you talk?
Yeah, go for it.
It's like I noticed it's Anyway, so what are we doing next week while I play with this?
We are going to. I wanted to go comedy, bro, but I've already.
Did I fuck you up?
No, I've already been on a badass trip. Like, so I'm
with
just
these
gonna,
like action movies.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep going, bro. Just see where this takes us, man. We are going to do Boondock Saints.
Wow, really?
Yes, sir. Just because I realized I've never talked about that movie. I've talked about it.
Yeah, everyone's talked about it to death, but
I've never talked about it with you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you like it or not, but I said, you know what? After this one, I don't care if he likes it. We're going to talk about it.
I'm not going to tell you how I feel about it. I'll just wait till we watch it, and then I can talk about it then.
I know you like it, though, bro. Who doesn't like Boondock Saints?
There's actually some people that don't like it.
Now, if you'd have said, if I'd have said, hey, Greg, we're going to do All Saints Day, I think your reaction would have been a lot.
I've never seen it. I heard it was pretty bad.
It's rough, bro. I have it if you want to watch it, but
no, I'm good.
Yeah. Do yourself the favor. Just pretend that this is the only one.
Right. Yeah, it's actually funny. There's a band called Bleeding Through, and their first album, they use clips from the Boondock Saints movie as like intros to their songs.
That's crazy. I used to listen to a guy called Anybody Killer.
Yeah.
He used to rap on ICP's label.
Oh, yeah.
And his whole first album was called Hatchet Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
And he used clips from the movie The Warriors. Like at beginning of one of his songs, it's like, Warriors,
super cool.
And play. Then the beat would come on and shit. But yeah, but it's similar. Made me think of that.
Nice, super cool. So yeah, I don't know if I own it, but I'm sure I can grab it somewhere.
If I have it, I think I got it at the house if you need to borrow it.
Nah, I don't need to borrow it.
Shit, dude, that movie's so old, bro. You probably watch it on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe it's not on something. I think it's on Netflix. It's like a dope ass quote, bro. People have that tattooed on them. He's awesome in that movie.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You watching the trailer?
No, this is that band. This is the intro to their song.
What if they had to cut him a check?
I don't know.
I have a feeling that this is gonna be one of those songs. As soon as he sings, it ruins it.
I seen them live. So good.
Are they?
I liked them. They're pretty like.
Have you seen this?
Yes, I've seen Boondock Saints.
I was going to say, you don't have to tell me if you like it, but you have seen it, though,
yes,
right?
I have seen Boondock Saints.
It's hard to believe that you haven't watched it, at least.
I want to leave the reveal of what I feel about it till next week.
That's fun. That's fun. But I just want to keep going on the action and see where that takes us, man.
Yeah, 100%. I might dive more into like I know what I'm going to give you next, but I'm not 100%. So, right. You know who Wes Craven is? Or not Wes Craven.
I was going to say, yeah, bro, I've heard of Wes Craven.
Anyway, I can't think of his name, but we might do one of his movies.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what I'm thinking about? Since we're going to be in an Irish feel, I think I might go Departed after that.
Departed, yeah.
Yes, dude.
We
haven't done a Scorsese in a minute, bro.
When you give me Departed, that's probably when I'm going to do Bring Out the Dead.
Oh, yeah.
So we can keep
dope.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'd be really cool. Wes Anderson, that's his name.
Oh, yeah. He did Royal Tenenbaums, didn't he?
You know, I tried watching that the other day, and I'm not the hugest fan of it.
I'm gonna be honest, for the cast that's in it, man, it should be a better movie.
It didn't click for me.
I don't think he's the greatest director that everybody acts like he is, though.
I haven't watched it. I haven't watched any of his movies, not enough. I watched one recently, The Inherent Vice.
Yeah. I haven't watched that yet. It looks like I have the cover. I got it for $1, and I've just been looking.
You were telling me. So we might talk about that one after Boondock Saints, seeing how I feel about it, but we'll see.
But I just remember I love Gene Hackman in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
He's the best part to me. Him and his little sidekick that doesn't speak English.
Right.
But understands everything Gene Hackman says. It's fucking hilarious.
I might have to give it another chance because a lot of people love that movie. I just wasn't feeling it.
Owen Wilson's okay in it, too. He's got a couple lines.
Well, that's back when, what's his name? Ben Stiller was pretty good.
Yeah, but he's not good at it, man. I don't like his character in that movie.
No.
Gwyneth Paltrow's in it.
It's so many people.
Bill Murray, dude. Fucking Danny Glover. It goes on and on. Morticia. I can't think of her real. Angela Houston. Something like that.
I don't know.
Something like that. But anyways, fucking Owen Wilson. Sorry, what'd you say? I didn't say anything. Oh, I took some mescaline earlier. I might have to watch that. Like, it's been a while since I've seen it. But yeah, man.
Next week, Boondock Saints.
Fucking A.
Till then.
Later, y'all.